この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am back for Mushishi. I know we've missed a couple of weeks. One was just because I felt terrible that day, and then the other was because my graphics card was completely dead and I couldn't turn on my computer. But we're back. We watched Mushishi Zoku Show Season 2. So Zoku Show Season 2, Episode 3, which we could also call Season 3, Episode 3, or I'm just going to call Episode 13. And it was about Shadow Tag, and getting trapped in a shadow universe for fucking forever. And we don't know what that was about, but it was kind of crazy. And also about decisions and sacrifice. And it was a really cool episode, as most of the episodes of this season have been so far. They've been pretty darn rad and pretty darn interesting, and I'm excited to see more stuff like that. I'm hoping that the next couple episodes end up being also awesome. But there's only one way for us to really find out if that's going to be the case, and that's to watch episode 4 or 14 of Zoku Show. So that's what we're going to do today. I don't remember what this episode is titled. I guess we will find out at some point when the title card comes up, but let's just get into it. Let's just go for it. So I've got episode 14 of Zoku Show up and ready to go. It's at 0 seconds. There will be two versions. Picture-in-picture version with the video up there, available in the description. Timer-based version up on YouTube. If you want to sync up your own copy, get it ready, because the beep beep timer to count you down is coming at you right now. Let's do it. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Okay. Green water? Okay, this is a cool location. Seems like a nice place. Hi, Ginkers. Hello, definitely not character lady. Suspicious. The Hidden Cove. Okay, fitting. I guess, although we haven't seen a Hidden Cove. This is her as a little girl, I assume? Oh. You okay? Panic attack? Seems like a panic attack. But for what reason? Maybe not for normal reasons. Hmm. Hmm? Is she a telepath? Some kind of telepathy thing? That's interesting. Probably has like a mushi inside her that lets her do that. Oh, and it's comfort. Ooh. Ooh, well, that's not a promise that can be made because we're mortal. What if she could speak to the dead, though? That would be cool. Really? Yeah, she real cute. Sorry. Is she working into something? Okay. Hit the nail on the head there, right? Ooh. Okay, yeah, that's odd. What if it has to do with that mist? Or is Ginkgo the only one who can see that? Hi. Yeah, your eyes just changed color. Oh. This reads as dissociation. Okay. Okay. Yeah, she can speak with the dead. Assume he's fucking dead. Oh, okay. Okay, maybe she's not dead. Maybe she just left. What? Yeah, it gives him that look that's like, you actually understand. Okay, that's a cool idea. Ah, that's a double cool idea. Ooh. Hmm. Hmm. Is there now? Oh, that's very fitting. Looks kind of like a windsock. I want one. Telepathy powers. Hmm. Ah, that's why she disappears. That's why she goes away. Okay, there's the risk. Not a chance. Not a chance. So it's like losing yourself in a connection with someone else? Ah, a relapse? So that is another condition starting it off. But then you'll be in pain. I don't think so, dude. I think your daughter has a legitimate okay, it's a heart condition. Yeah. Seems to have a legitimate problem. You're hurting Sumi too? Te? Ah. But it means cutting yourself off from someone you really love and need. The one person who can give you comfort. Because obviously your fucking father can't. Hi, Sumi. Yeah. Yeah, I caught on that. There we go. Be the stronger one, yeah. That's harsh. Sometimes a powerful and important connection can keep you from growing, can prevent your own development, right? Please don't depend on me anymore. Take care of yourself. And it's brutal. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's not what it is, dude. Reaching out. But she already taken the medicine? Please respond. Please respond. Oh. And the connection is lost. Casting herself into nothingness. What's gonna happen? Okay, so decisions have been made. Incoming crisis. Oh, is she gonna sneak out to try to see Sumi? Uh-oh. So maybe she'll end up at that hidden cove we mentioned. The episode title? I don't know. I don't know. What's gonna happen? That's very cute and wholesome of you, Yura, but I don't know. I think she's just sad about having to leave you. Oh, back then sent her away, huh? But he told her that she quit. Uh-huh. But because she relies on you. Hmm. She can. She might never get better regardless, man. It might be a permanent condition. And she believes it. And he believes it, but I don't know that it's true. Uh-oh, bad time. Real bad timing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She's gonna drift for a long way and get lost somewhere. Maybe in a hidden cove. And then she'll have only one thing to do, which is try to reach out to the one person she can communicate with. And she won't be able to. Uh-oh. But Ginkgo said that maybe she can reach out to anyone if she really tries. So maybe she can learn to connect with other people? Yeah, you are hours down that little canal. Oh, you're not in space and time anymore. You're in the flow of the ether. I don't know if you can. Literally adrift without a paddle. What a nightmare. That sounds like a waterfall. Reach out to someone else. No, we're just having a shared dream. Cover more ground that way. Uh-oh. Come on, boys. Let's save the girl. Oh, who's that? Who's there? Not Sumi. Hello, random person. Please save me. Hello, other people. Please save me. Sumi? Somebody? Nothingness. Oh, they found her. They found her. And Sumi's there too. Hi. Hey, you were gone for a little bit. I guess she didn't drift that far. It wasn't a fast-moving current. But that wasn't the danger. It was the mental drifting that was scary. Yeah, okay, bud. Hi. Yeah, that'll spook ya. Fuck off, man. Maybe think about your daughter almost getting her mind lost. We're connected, baby. Oh, cool. Nah, y'all should stick together. Y'all should super stick together. Hey. What? What? Impossible. I can't just go see her. You have a community. Yee. Sweet. Looks like we solved all the problems and saved the day again. Cool. Weird. Okay, yeah, sure. Sure. Just don't get lost in your own mind again. It's a little scary. Oh, what a weird one. What a weird one. There's some stuff there that has some metaphorical resonance. The protective father, the need for connection and comfort, but then the danger of becoming lost in it, and then the finding of a balance. That's good. It's not my favorite episode ever, but it's good. I like this ending piece. Okay, so next one is The Thread of Light. Cool. I like this episode quite a bit. It's very calm and peaceful, and yet manages to be a little bit spooky. This idea of becoming lost in mental space, in a kind of a dreaming, is really interesting to me. And I think it works really well as a spooky thing. I also really like the visuals of the episode. I liked the canal visuals before I understood that they actually had some symbolic importance to the episode itself. And then once it's revealed that they do have that symbolic importance, I think it's really cool. The idea that they're in like a canal town, and then the episode is about these connections linking individuals, is really, really neat. And it makes for a really like powerful scene as she's drifting away into endless nothingness with this sound of what might be a waterfall, but clearly seems like end, like lost foreverness in the future, is really interesting. I think that they also really nailed the character of the father. I think it would be really easy to let this character be kind of a bad guy in being too authoritarian and too like hard, like the king who keeps his princess locked in a castle because he wants to protect her, that archetype. But they managed to like walk that line really carefully and show that this is someone who is just motivated by genuinely wanting to protect his daughter and isn't trying to hurt her by tearing away the things that she's connected to, but actually wants her to like develop more seriously. Like we see that in the conversation that he has with Sumi, and it rings true but mean, and it's like it's doing, you can tell that he's not super happy with himself for doing it either. It's not like he regrets it, but I just think that they walk a fine line with this father character to make him comprehensible without seeming like villainous because of what he's doing. And I think that's a tough line to walk in characterizing somebody like that. So I think that's a well done thing for the episode. um, okay, I'm back to using VLC because it doesn't stutter the way that NPC does, but it does crash sometimes at the end of an episode. So, okie dokie, gonna reopen, and we're back in it. Cool. Um, Classic situation where Ginkgo shows up, intuits most of what's going on and explains what's happening. But we get this backstory of her with Sumi, and there's something about their relationship that also rings true. This idea, and I mentioned it during the thing, and I mentioned it during the ED, but like this idea of becoming infatuated or obsessed with another person platonically. Like, we're not talking about a romantic thing because there's no indication of that between these two characters at all. But becoming infatuated with someone to the extent that, like, one, she relies on her deeply. We understand that this character doesn't have a mother in this, like, in this world, which is sad. And so she has to some extent replaced that with her maid or caretaker, we might say, or nanny maybe. But I think caretaker is the best word here. And has associated a lot of those feelings with Sumi, but also has associated friendship with Sumi, has associated like connection in every sense with Sumi, and is kind of obsessed with Sumi. And that's okay to an extent. It's good to have connections, and it's good to have deep relationships and like best friend relationships, and those things are powerful, and very important. But if they're directed toward like not quite the right thing, they can become a hindrance more than a help. And that's exactly what we see here. We see the exact reasons that Sumi is the one that she cares about, because she comforts her when she's in pain, right? And she has very legitimate reasons for being in pain. She seems to have a heart condition, and a serious one, or at least like palpitations, which are dreadful. Or maybe it may not even be a like physical medical heart condition. It could be panic attacks, which very much feel the same way. If you've ever had a panic attack, you know that it feels exactly like a heart attack, and that's exactly what you think is going on in that moment. So it very well may be psychosomatic, and that doesn't make it any less of an issue or something that she needs and deserves to be comforted during. And that's where I think where the line for her father's character really comes into play, because he's not dismissive of her pain. He's just trying to take away like the comfort thing that she thinks she needs so that she can grow up. And I think that's a cool balance to strike with the father character, and a tough one to see, and a tough one to imagine doing to someone you care about. But in a way, and I know it's more complicated than this because it's the relationship of two human beings, but in a way, it's like having a young child who, whenever they get scared or whenever they feel like frustrated or lonely or sad or whatever, they've got like a comfort item that is like their comfort item, and it might be a blanket or a stuffed animal or something. But like at a certain age, what do you do with about that if they're obsessed with having their blankie with them everywhere, and they associate that thing with comfort and they can't calm down without it? Then that's hampering their ability to control their own mental state, right? Like that's a huge part of growing up and developing as a child, and growing into being older and being more mature, is being capable of controlling your own mental state to some extent, and being capable of like resilience in the face of pain and discomfort. And this is something that Yura as a character is going to have to deal with potentially for the rest of her life. So we have to kind of take it away from her at a certain point, and it sucks to do that, and it sucks for her to have that done, but it is necessary, especially when we lay it out very specifically, where she's just so obsessed with Sumi that she doesn't want to go out and play with other people, doesn't want to play with other kids, is just focused all in on this one relationship that she has. And even because of the more mystical aspects of the episode, even when that's taken away, she drifts off into dreamland and is literally not within herself throughout all the periods when she's feeling stressed, right? And that's not a healthy response to that kind of stress. And it does, at least in the beginning of the episode, it read to me as like dissociating. Like trauma occurs, repeats of trauma occur, and you just dissociate and are not there. Um, um, which is a pretty common thing for individuals in traumatic relationships, which is why I was really initially suspicious of the father, but that didn't end up being quite the case. It still reads that way to me, and it's still a functional metaphor if you want to look at it that way. But just this idea of being lost in connection, lost in a specific connection to the expense of yourself and everything around you and your own development, means that cutting it off to some extent is the move to make. And so we do cut it off, and she is not okay with that, and so she goes out seeking it again, because like the kid who you take their blankie away from, the kid is going to go fiending for that fucking blankie. It's almost like an addiction to some extent, because the thing brings comfort, and comfort is a neurochemical process of feeling comforted. That it's literally addictive. It's like precise response to the feeling of suffering is seek out the thing that brings you comfort, whatever it is. For the same reason that when you're feeling really sad and you want to maybe go and eat some ice cream or get drunk, or whatever you do to seek out to to ameliorate that suffering. But if you focus on one thing that ameliorates that suffering, it becomes almost an addiction, something that you need in order to quell that suffering without necessarily figuring out the root causes of that suffering. I think that's really interesting. But anyway, she goes out there to seek out her comfort, and is completely ill prepared to do so. And more importantly, in the specific context here, she has a medical condition and ends up passing out on a boat and drifting away. And then has a weird psychological thing where she calls the entire village to help her and is eventually saved by the process that is also carrying her away. So it is connection that saves her, but connection in a broader scope than just to the one person who she can't really communicate with. Although I guess she can because Sumi couldn't take the other dose either. And that brings us to the end of the thing, which is after their hard separation, um, they figure out a more comfortable balance because neither works, right? It's not wrong to have something that comforts you. It's wrong to invest everything in that one thing. It's not wrong to cut that thing off to some extent. Well, to some extent, it is kind of wrong to cut yourself off completely from all the things that bring you pleasure or comfort or feelings of being okay. And so they find a balance where she's able to go and visit Sumi on her own, which is it's a rather simple solution to the problem, but it's also a perfect solution to the problem. And it's the ending of the episode. She's able to go and visit her friend who she cares about when she needs to, and in the process is actually gaining some autonomy by being trusted to go outside of her house and paddle one of those boats, even though it's dangerous for her to do so, and it is. But she's being trusted by her father, and she trusts herself to go outside of the house and seek out the friendships and relationships that matter to her in a way that's actually helpful and beneficial. And I think that's a really, really cool resolution to a complicated issue here. It's really fucking cool. It's like, again, it's not wrong to feel really sad and go and eat a bunch of ice cream. It's wrong to do that every 2 days. Like it's going to be a problem if you do that every 2 days. But if you want to, you're kind of an adult, you can go and do that if you want to. It's not going to kill you immediately. It's fine. Just moderation and everything, right? And so that's what we find by the end of the episode is kind of a sense of moderation, a sense of connection without complete like throwing oneself into one relationship and becoming almost obsessed with that relationship. And I think that's really cool. And I think this is a cleverly done piece of storytelling. And I think it's these simple Mushishi characters with simple like plot lines that end up becoming combinatorially complicated by the introduction of like Mushi into their world and Ginkgo's presence and the individual human relationships between them that just are explored really, really beautifully. Fuck yeah, man. Another good episode of Mushishi Zoku Show. I don't know if this one matches the last couple that we've had, but it's pretty darn good and I like it a lot. Hell yeah. That's going to be a wrap for my discussion for episode 4. I've only got like 35 minutes recorded. Let's move on and watch episode 5 as well. So I'm going to take a little break and do a little sync and be back in a second to watch episode 5 of Zoku Show. See you in a moment. Peace. All right, welcome back. We are good to go for Mushishi Zoku Show 15, The Thread of Light. I don't know what that's going to be about. Might have to do something with the light vein and all that stuff. Or not. Could be threads connecting the minds of people through stuff and thing. Or it could be a lady who does sewing. I don't know. Let's watch the episode, and I think we'll find out. Beep beep timer. Oh, actually threads. Silk? Or mushi? Or both? It's glowing. This reminds me of, like, the Fates. But it is glowing. And it is actually a weaver. It's gotta be silk. Cool. Very cool. Oh, okay. Get him, Ken! Let's go! Kick his ass! Oh, shit. Maybe a little bit much there, buddy. Kid's a beast. And a huge problem. Hmm. Okay, we got a murder boy. Why, how's your home life, kid? How's your home life? Did they? Were they? Oh. Does seem like a lie. Oh. Oh. No. Oh. Full of energy, are we? Maybe more than that. Fuck you, Dad, I'm a big boy. Okay, that is a problem child. And you don't know how to deal. Oh, buddy. Yikes. What? What? Ah, shit. You alive there, little bud? Yeah, you're okay. What's all this cloth? Ooh, it's glowy. Something his mother made. Why does it glow? And can they see that? I don't think so. It might be. I think it's meant for you when you grow up. Right, so you're a kid who can see things you're not supposed to see, and people do not treat you well because of it. Yeah. Just like Ginkgo with his mom, to some extent, right? No, there isn't. What? No, I'm not. My reality is real. Like, it's okay. My reality is real. Can we get a ginkgo involved here, please? We need a ginkgo. Like, child services ginkgo, please? Hi, child services. Can I get a ginkgo as soon as possible? Ew. Hmm. Hmm. Ginkgo? Oh, fucking hell. Jesus shit. Cannot stop. Will not stop. Ah, it's a Ginkgo. Hi, kid. I'm from Child Protective Services. Heh. I'm your father. Oh, neat. What do you know? Okay. Interesting. Why'd you do a thing like that? Yeah, he keeps fighting. Okay. And it made him too strong. What? You can't see it at all. Oh, he's fine, all right. Yeah, you got a little strong there, kid. Okay. A little bit too much power, huh? Hmm. Okay, weird. What is this supposed to do? I don't believe you. You're a weird charlatan man. Who is this weird man talking to, my boy? Ah, you recognize me. Good. I don't have to sleep in the rice fields. Maybe too much. Yeah. Yeah. But now I wish I'd let him die. No. Put him in a robe. Hmm. Hmm. Is she now? So why did she leave? Oh, you know where she is, huh? Or is this in the past? Made it. It's woven from, like, pure koki or something, isn't it? From my spider gland! She turns into a giant spider and attacks. Oh. Oh. I was about to say, years ago when you had the child, she became close to death and close to the light vein, huh? Interesting. And probably her talking about what she could see might have to do with the father telling him not to talk about that stuff. Hmm. 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 Weird. Is she fucking pulling the life from things? Looks fully empty to her, right? I can't see what you're talking about, weird daughter. Ooh. Okay. Weird. A little bit weird. But what happens when he's with you? She's being a little strange. She's talking about this invisible thread that she can see. It's weird. Does she pull thread from him? Oh, I don't like that. She is pulling the life from them. What the fuck are you talking about, lady? What shining thread? Yeah. You fucking stay. You killed our boy. You killed him. Rah! Uh-oh. And the glow has gone out of her eye. What? It's like it's dripping light? Hey, can we get a Genko explanation now? Now would be a good time for a Ginkgo explanation. Hmm. Oh, same idea. Yeah. But an infant. Ikiru. Yeah. Their power of life, literally. It sure worked. You need to take him to his mom. Take him to his mom. She can draw it out of him. She's dead. Grave. Wait, what? Oh, not dead, just catatonic. Pulling it from herself as well. Oh, the opposite. She's the spirit who drifts around. She's stuck up in the sky. Aww. Good. Oh, okay. Well, her spirit has been with her son, right? Hello, child. Touch his face. Pull out the threads. Oh, he hasn't gotten in fights recently. It's not beat up. Mm-hmm. Weird. Making bank, sell this to Adachi, no. Now hold on to that shit. Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. Again? Or is he better now? Seems like he just needed a mom in the house a little bit. Something like that, huh? So it was your home life all along. Hmm, hmm. I feel like the metaphor is just right outside of my comprehension. Like, I almost get it, but then I don't. There are pieces that I definitely get. I guess what I'm mostly missing is why after the difficult birth, she became suddenly able to see Mushi and pull the threads. Like they were sticking to her or something. I don't quite get that. I think if I understood that element, it would all kind of click. But I don't understand that element. In a symbolic sense, I don't understand it. And next time, a sea of otherworldly stars. Cool episode title. I'm excited for that. Okay. I like this episode. I like the character designs in this episode. The mother's character design is great. The kid's character design is also kind of great. I mean, it's simple, but it really works. The father is kind of meh, he's kind of whatever. Man, this kid just wailing on other kids is a serious, serious problem. I know that I made a joke of like, get him, yeah, fuck him up. But damn, that is a problem, and he's way too strong for his age. So that part makes a lot of sense to me. In multiple ways. One, it makes sense that a kid who thinks like kind of that his mom hates him is what he thinks. Might lash out a little sometimes. That makes a lot of sense on one level. On another level, the idea that this kid who's imbued with excess energy would take that out on other people, and you combine the two and you get him fighting people for little reason, or like the perception of a slight turns into a full rage from him and he absolutely loses control. That's interesting and really neat. And we see the like fear of the other townspeople as they're talking about him. Like what are we gonna do with this kid? I don't know. Like this is actually scary. What if he grows up like this and is a full adult beating the shit out of people? Like this kid's gonna kill somebody. This is a problem. And his father has that as an element of like stress on him as well. Yeah, it was their fault. Yada yada. It is all a lie. She got sick because she had me, and he believes it. So full of energy that she can hardly bear to see you while she's so ill. Do you understand? And he's just immediately distracted by Mushi. Honestly, the kid reads it as having Mushi styled ADHD is how he actually reads. And I don't mean, there are lots of articles and shit talking about misdiagnosed ADHD and people just being like, oh, the kid is just unruly and doesn't know how to control themselves. It must be ADD or ADHD. He actually reads in a lot of ways as having hyperactivity disorder along with anger issues because of a messed up childhood at this point, because he thinks his mom hates him. He thinks the world, like the comforting thing in the world, has rejected him. And so he fights people a lot, and also gets constantly distracted by the Mushi that he can see. Something about that rings as like an archetypal thing. It seems true to me. It seems right for this character. And then the father who is struggling to get him to pay attention and do things. But this is rough. This is not the place that a child of his age should be in, right? He should be out there happy playing with his friends, and instead he's beating up pillows. There's a serious problem here. So he finds the robe, and the robe calls to him to some extent. Okay, I got to do a little refreshy thingy. So he finds the robe and becomes very curious about it. for good reason. It's a very curious thing, this glowing robe that it turns out he is able to see and no one else is. Very interesting. And he sees this angel floating around him. And it is actually the spirit of his mother watching over him. And she is lost because she is without her child, because she's separated from him. And that rings super true to me. The idea that the mother is cast out because there's some danger there, because she thinks she's going to hurt her child, but all she can do, like she loses herself completely, kind of in a way like Yura and Sumi in the last episode, like losing yourself in the connection to someone else. She loses herself completely in this obsession from afar over her son. A very reasonable obsession. Like, I'm not saying that in a negative light at all. It's totally reasonable for a mother to care for and be protective of her child. But in being separated from him, there's this conflict there, and she can't be within herself at all. That's really interesting, and I think that rings super true, and there's powerful meaning to that. And there's meaning to the idea that when it is all brought together, the problems work themselves out, as long as all of the individuals involved are able to work together to solve those problems. I think that's really fascinating. Okay, so he continues going and looking at the robe, and we are missing the element, which is everything that Ginkgo has to say. So Ginkgo, we meet after another fight, and he explains that he did what he did when the baby was a child and swaddled him in this invisible robe, where the dad was like, "The fuck are you talking about?" Well, I guess it works, so I'll just pretend that it works. But it's too much, and it's way too much, and Ginkgo can't fix it with his normal medicine. It will not pull it out of him. And I'm not sure about that element. I don't quite understand it. But I love this moment where we've just got Gen looking at this guy, just like, "So you paint some green stuff on my hand, and this is supposed to help me be better? Bruh." And we get this look from Ginkgo that we see sometimes when his shit doesn't work, and he's just like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on." That weird. How strange. But we bring him back and we talk it through and tell the story of meeting his mother. I love these scenes with the angel rays going by. I think they're gorgeous. And meeting the mom who sewed the robe or wove the kimono. And she tells the story to him. Lots of stories being told, lots of different pieces that we're missing. And she is able to pull the light, literally the vitality and life from things, and her eyes are bright. And I'm really curious about this feeling she has of being reborn. She came really close to death during the childbirth, which is a thing that happens, and has been immensely lessened by modern medical science, right? Like, we have the ability to perform birth either relatively naturally and safely, or to perform cesarean sections, which save a whole lot of lives. I'm a C-section baby. My head is too big, and that's like a biological thing that modern humanity has to deal with, is the fact that our heads are too big to like be born effectively. It's the trade-off we get for being so smart. But regardless, she came really close to death in childbirth, and something about that process, something about her saying, "I feel as though I've been reborn," rings to me as though she actually has, to some extent, been reborn. Like, she came so close to the other side that she brought something else with her. She certainly comes back able to see Mushi and to pull those threads. Why she can pull the threads is never really explained, and I don't really understand it. She sees the radiance of these things and she pulls it from them, but she never notices whether, like, doing so affects those trees later. But she's got this almost manic glow in her eyes, right? This lust for life or something. I don't know what to call it exactly. And I don't know how exactly it tracks metaphorically, right? I'm not sure. So she pulls the thread out of her baby, seeing his glow. And it's bad. She actually removes something important from him. And so she views herself as the thing which harms her child and becomes absolutely in despair because of it. And then the thing sheds its skin, and I don't understand that. I don't get it. If only I had never touched those threads, regret, regret. And then Ginkgo comes up with this solution. Those threads are what the Mushishi call the ether. It's also what triggered your sudden ability to see things you were unable to see before. But we don't really explain that. Like, what about her sort of near-death experience caused that? I'm not sure. What will happen to my son? And then we get back to the practical things at hand, which is bring the robe to him and maybe he'll be able to survive. And it works. But it works, again, it works too well. And what he really needs is to have his mother around. She may be the only one who can extract his ether, but she can't because she's stuck there. Want to go see mom. We do go see mom. We bring her home, and all just clicks and is okay. She's the angel. I know her. She's the one who's been watching over me all this time, and that's great, and it's good, and it all works, and vitality returns to her body, and yay, 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 and then the kid is also good. I don't know, man. I feel like there are some pieces that are just kind of missing here. I feel like we can insert the pieces that make this all track, but they're not explained to the degree that I would expect from most of these episodes of Mushishi. Most of the time we click all the metaphorical pieces into an alignment that actually makes a ton of sense. And it feels like there are pieces that are there and have been ideated by the author and make perfect, like, symbolic sense that aren't actually present in the narrative that we see in this episode. And that may be an adaptation thing. There may be more in the manga, or it may just be a stylistic thing and it's meant to be part of the mystery of the whole thing. But I feel like those pieces would be helpful in putting this together in a way that's, like, more relatable than cool magic story about magic lady comes back to home and magic kid gets unmagicked and is no longer angry, right? Still, there are some pieces that we can take away from it, which are, like, kid without mom can go bad. Kid with mom, sometimes less bad. Cool. The fear of a mother harming her child, something about that rings true. And then distancing herself from him, but also being desperate to be connected with him, something about that rings really true in a potent way. As does the characterization of this kid Gen, who's kind of lost, and maybe, like, I mean, we can put him as a template on, like, a child with maybe ADHD and anger issues, but that's not really what we're trying to do with the story, but it can work for that perspective if you want it to. I think his characterization is really great, and the story that we tell around it is solid. I just wish that they were actually solid and that the pieces all lined up to make more sense. Maybe I'm asking for the impossible because, again, we're in Magic Verse, we're in Mushi World, and things don't always make sense in Mushi World, but they really do make sense to someone like Ginkgo, and so I feel like those things are usually explained to us in a way that makes some level of metaphorical sensibility. And I just, again, this one, it tracks, it all works, but I think it could work better if we understood those pieces. Like, what happened to the mom when she almost died would be huge. As well as what is the like pulling of the threads. I guess Ginkgo doesn't understand that part. He explicitly says that he doesn't understand how she can do that. So it's just a novel experience, I guess. So maybe that explains why it's not explained, you know? But a pretty gem-packed episode in terms of flow of things and flow of revelations of information, and also a complicated episode where we get multiple stories within stories, right? Like, Ginkgo tells the story to the dad of how he he tells the story to the son of how he came and gave the robe, and then he tells the story to the dad of how he went to the mom and saw the robe, and during the time when he's telling the story to the dad of how he went and saw the robe and took the robe, he also she tells him the story of how the kid thing happened with the strings and things, and that's a story within a story within a story, and it's like a lot of stories jam-packed together, which takes a lot of time, so I understand why they might have skipped some things, but I feel like the things they might have skipped maybe are the important things. Yeah. Still a cool episode. Cool imagery. The idea of the angel mom really works. Some of the other things don't super work for me. Cool. Okay. Well, I think that's my take on episode 15. I thought it was pretty good. I definitely like 14 better, and even then, I think that the episodes that we watched prior to this in Zoku Show second season, or season 3, or whatever you want to call it, have been the first 3 were some of the, like, heavy-hitting best episodes of Mushishi that we've had flat, full stop, and these episodes have been pretty good Mushishi episodes, not quite on the same level. No complaints, though. I think that's going to be a wrap. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Mushishi Zokusho second season episode 4 and 5, or Mushishi Zokusho 14 and 15. I hope you've enjoyed these as much as I have, and I hope to catch you next week for more. If you've got thoughts on this episode or the last one, or how you think they are actually playing out, or whatever, throw them in the comments. I'd love to read them. Otherwise, I will see you next week for more Mushishi. Peace.